Hey, want to know how to cut your research time in half so that you're speaking your audience's language and know exactly what they want to get the conversions that you're looking for in your marketing? Well, today I'm going to show you how to jump into Chatgpt, do some audience research, and how to turn that into a video ad that I created in a matter of minutes. So, hi, I'm Brian Czekanski. I am a direct response copywriter. And my goal over the next particularly 6 months to a year is to become the best short form AI copywriter out there. And one of the best ways that I've learned how to do that, one of the best ways that I've learned in becoming a copywriter is to share what I know. And one of the things that I'll do almost every day going forward, I'll try to stick to that, is to share how I'm using Chatgpt, how I'm using AI to get clients results, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses, results. So we're sticking into some of the most complex businesses out there. And I'm going to jump into Chatgpt and show you exactly what I'm doing, the exact copy that is being churned out, so you can do it yourself, or you can feel confident in hiring a copywriter elsewhere in the industry that is using that expertise along the way. So feel free to hit that subscribe button on and catch my videos every single day. And like I said, I'll be kind of sharing my work, jumping into some of the details, the aha moments that I'm having with AI as I'm using it every single day to produce copy, and using it for graphic design as well. I'll jump into that in Midjourney as well. So let's jump into an example today. One of the recent clients that I worked with is probably a good example. So like one of the things that you always have with clients, or if you're a business owner, is you might not have a great idea of who your audience is, what they care about, what are those different nuances. So this was a unique example of where I was working with an agency that had a client that focused on rooftop amenities. So a landscape architect that focused just squarely on rooftop amenities. I knew, from my perspective, I know nothing about these type of firms, and apparently based on this client, there's not too many of them out there. And of course, one of the things that I got a client brief from the agency, which didn't have a ton of details. So again, bringing you back to pre-AI days, I would have spent hours and hours and hours scouring the internet, trying to reach out to my network to get up to speed on a rooftop amenity landscape architect. I might have been successful, I might not have been, but the good part is I had the confidence right here to just jump into Chatgpt, get up to speed on what this audience is all about, and quickly generate a video script, which is what I was trying to do with this one. Within 15 minutes, I would say, is what I can tell you. So again, think about hours and hours of research before AI. Now you can do it in a matter of minutes. Generating the copy, doing the research, really getting into the head of your market. So first thing I did was just kind of type in to kind of prime Chatgpt is just to give them a little context in terms of like what we're talking about. So I just started out like just asking a question. So this is what you should do with Chatgpt anytime you're doing it. Don't think of it as a Google search where you put something in and you want that output right away. Think of it as like a conversation between two humans where you're having a conversation back and forth. Like actually think of it as like your AI research, your AI copywriter that you're kind of bringing on board. And we want to start out by just saying like, okay, like, do you know anything? Like, do you know what rooftop amenity is? Like, I assume that they knew something about it, but I just want to get a sense for what they had. And as they went through, it kind of lined up with what I was looking for. So rooftop gardens, like most of what this client was focused on was kind of those urban buildings that had a rooftop to it. So these kind of describe all the type of rooftops or outside amenities that this client would focus on. So now I know I'm on the right track. Like again, if it spits out an answer that isn't aligned with that, again, give it a little bit more context. And the idea here is like by putting in a single tab, we're kind of giving them the right context. So when I ask them to do further research, when I ask them to write copy, it's all within this tab as you go through here. So, I know they're on the right track in terms of rooftop amenities. So now I go into, okay, can you describe for me the market that would actually be interested in hiring this type of firm? So again, it kind of is right on target for what I'm looking for. Like this is the target market: residential developers, commercial property, hotels and resorts, like all the different things that I saw in the brief kind of came through here. So again, I know that I'm giving AI is on the right track. They're in the right frame of mind. They have the right lenses for giving me the research and copy that I'm looking for. So super important just to make sure that you're on the right track. And if they're not, again, in that conversation that you're having with ChatGPT, make sure that you are going back and forth and saying, no, that's not exactly what I'm looking for, just being specific. So again, it might be, if you got the wrong output, like again, go back to this little bar right here and hit that edit button. And sometimes it's just being more specific, giving a little bit more detail so that ChatGPT has, knows exactly what you're looking for. Like again, if you get an output that you don't like here, always go back to this original prompt and edit it, give more detail, be more specific. That's going to give you better outputs along the way. Again, don't think of it as like a Google search where you're just trying to get the outputs right away. So I have this context and everything else, and now I want to actually I want to start building a client profile. So again, in the brief that I got from the agency, they didn't have much in terms of like they talked about how, the main market for this is real estate developers and things like that. But there wasn't a ton of detail. So here I really want to use AI to get into as much detail as possible in terms of the audience. What are their fears? What are their desires? All those kind of things. I'm not going to go into kind of the prompt that I used. I'm going to just show you the output that I got at the very bottom. So here's kind of what I did. So again, I just started to build a persona. Again, I'll go back to, let me know in the comments if you want to get into a buyer's persona, how to build that template, how to build those prompts. But for right now, I'm going to give you that, just focus on the output to keep this video as tight and short as possible. So again, what AI did was just kind of generate a buyer persona for me. So elevated Emma, kind of went into the demographics that kind of, I put specifics in there. I put all the specifics that I had. Here's all the occupation, the income, the location, education. Again, it lined up exactly for what I was expecting. Again, if it doesn't, go back and edit your post and make sure if your outputs aren't lining up, go back to your inputs and think into it. And here's where AI really got into it. So it goes into the psychographics in terms of the lifestyle, personality, values, interests, kind of very much aligned with what I was expecting. And then gets into the challenges, the motivations, their deepest fears. So all these things are just great things that I'm going to infuse in the copy. I'm going to make sure that, in the final copy that I put through, I'm going to mention certain things about their deepest fears. I'm going to get into some of their failed solutions or why they failed. I'm going to get into their wants and things like that. So along the way, we're kind of addressing within our copy, in this case, a video ad, kind of touching on those pain points, kind of talking about their desires, but also talking about the things they might have tried in the past and why they didn't work. And then all the things they don't want to do, impact on their life. And eventually I just asked for kind of a summary of that. So you can see this is just a buyer persona summary, kind of went through, here's your deepest fears. And these are, this summary right here, I can use that as something to put in my ad. So again, I've got this research portfolio right now, and then I go to my actual video ad. So as I go to building my ad, again, I'm not going to show you the exact prompt that I used. I can do that in a future video if it makes sense. Just comment below on if that makes sense. But thinking about the prompts and what I've seen work. So I'm just going to walk you through kind of the different ways to think about it. So in terms of anytime you have a prompt, you got to start with an identity statement in terms of like, okay, like ChatGPT, like this is what we're focused, like this is the persona you should take on. So in this case, we're a direct response copywriter that's focused on video ads. So give them an idea of what seat they sit in right now. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail. So for this video ad script, it's important to have different swipes or different templates. So one of the things that I did is I went into and looked at other videos in the market, and I tried to look for a rooftop amenity provider. Didn't find one. I tried to look for another landscape architect that might be using video ads. I didn't find one. So what I did is I just went into my list of swipes from a video ad perspective, and I just took one out that I knew would work. And it was based on kind of that Wall Street Journal article, kind of, two people, going in two different directions, and that invisible difference, going back in that case was reading the Wall Street Journal. In this case, I'm going to be talking about hiring this rooftop amenity and how it made a huge difference in terms of this developer getting exactly what she wanted and another developer not getting what she wanted by hiring another landscape architect who was more generalist or just trying to figure it out on their own. So that's kind of the idea. So in choosing that kind of the two paths, kind of that Wall Street Journal approach, the first thing I have to do after identifying, giving the identification is kind of describe for ChatGPT, like what is that strategy? What's the direct response strategy here? So if I break down that Wall Street Journal ad, like what are the kind of the beats of that ad that I really want them to focus on before even giving them that example copy or giving them a template? I have to kind of as that marketer, as that direct response copywriter, as that business owner, you kind of have to feed, the AI a little bit more about what the strategy is all about. And that's really where a lot of the value that I bring to projects is I really understand kind of the marketing principles behind that. So I have to give ChatGPT kind of the marketing principles behind the strategy that I'm going to use and why it leads to conversions. Once I do that, again, it doesn't have to be a ton of different lines. It could be 4 or 5 lines. In my case, again, it was 4 or 5 lines kind of describing like, first we do this, second we do this, third we do this, and that leads to kind of the outcome that we're looking for. And then again, it led me to, in this case, giving a swipe of, again, that original Wall Street Journal article or advertorial, whatever. I think it was an advertorial. I pasted in that advertorial, and then at the very end, after that, gave a little bit more market detail. So again, in this case, talked about how we're writing for a rooftop amenity provider. These, I pasted in actually this summary right here. So you can see I just copied and pasted this from ChatGPT and pasted that in terms of the buyer persona, and then gave a little bit more detail in terms of the promise that we're putting out there. What's that call to action that we want? So in my video script, it was all about getting them to a call. So it knows exactly what it wants. So basically, we're just giving everything that AI really, you kind of have to almost spoon feed AI. And once AI has the right inputs, it gives you the outputs that you're looking for. And again, for me, I'm always asking for, it doesn't always come out perfectly. And if it doesn't come out perfectly and it doesn't, it's something that you can use right away, that's when you can go back into your prompts and do it and figure that out. And the last part that I didn't mention is just kind of that final section where you kind of talk about like, what is the specific style points? What's the structure, that kind of thing that you want to use to like, this is really important for me. Like what's the grade level you want them to write at? Do you want really short sentences? Do you want long paragraphs? Just giving them a little bit more style points. So again, that if it doesn't come out exactly the way you want it, just going back to that section and saying like, okay, I need you to ramp up the emotion here. I need you to dimensionalize this a little bit more. I need like all those different things. It's one of those things that as you test it and find out, you figure out like, okay, like what are the 5 or 6 lines that I have in there? And again, if you don't get the output that you're looking for, it might be just like you're missing 1 line or 1 line's in there that you don't need and taking that out. So kind of just editing that process along the way and getting to that final result. So again, just to make sure that this video doesn't go too long, I want to kind of spit out and show you kind of like what the video script ended up looking like. So again, this is for a developer that's, kind of designing their building. They're thinking about, hiring other architects or landscape architects for their rooftop or other amenities. So this was kind of the idea. So this is a video script. Another great thing about ChatGPT is as you're writing video scripts in particular, it can give you some of these visual suggestions. You just have to show it. So again, in this video, you got the visual suggestions in these little brackets. And then again, as I use kind of this 2 paths, so like we talk about in the heart of this vibrant city, stand two majestic skyscrapers, strikingly similar, owned by 2 high flyers, Emma and Sarah. So in this case, we've got 2 developers. They just finished their amazing buildings, but obviously you can see the 2 paths. Like one's going to have a really great rooftop, the other one's not so much. So we're really going to just bring that to life. So again, talking and speaking to the audience that we know, their epitome of success, trend centers, balancing profitability with design. Again, we're going to shift to the rooftop views of the 2 buildings. One's going to be, one's going to be amazing. So Emma's rooftop is more than a space. It's everything, an urban oasis. So like, that's really what this firm is really trying to sell. It's like, you've got this amazing building, but then your rooftop really brings it to the next level. And that's really what they're selling is like, okay, we can take your space and take it to the next level. And then, showing the full of life, innovative, sustainable, all inspiring the talk of the town. Again, you want to be these developers want to be the talk of the town because they have a great building, but everything surrounding them, the amenities, like all the whatever it is, the residents, the commercial businesses within that are just loving every part of that, and they want everything to be kind of intertwined with that. So again, if we can sell a firm that allows this rooftop to be fully integrated with their building and to be up to their standard. That's a big thing for this market, based on the research that AI had pushed out and everything else. And you talk about the other side. So again, the other difference is Sarah's is uninspiring, not memorable, a space that screams could have been. So again, just talking about like that failed potential of like, okay, we have this amazing building that you've spent years and years and years on, and you got one piece, like this one failed piece that is kind of like the rock within your shoe that's just driving you nuts. And that's kind of what the frame of reference we want in these developers' mind of like, okay, if you're going to spend this much time and effort on this building, let's make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that we bring in the expertise in those areas that you might not have the expertise for. So again, going back to that original Wall Street Journal advertorial, like here lies the invisible difference. So we're just kind of setting the scene for like two different companies and really inserting like this firm, Loft 64, as kind of that key linchpin for, okay, like if you're a developer, this is going to take you to the next level. If you try and go it alone or try and hire like a generalist type of landscape architecture, you're going to leave yourself open to some of these failures and kind of leaving a sense of like what could have been. So again, kind of talking about this firm, they understood her vision, matched her standards, brought her dream to life. That's really what these developers want is somebody that really integrates their amenities with the rest of the building. And talking about Sierra's mistakes, so she hired a generalist landscape architect, and it shows. And then kind of calling out the audience: are you a Sarah or an Emma? And kind of talking about like, okay, we can craft this unique, unforgettable experience like we did for Emma, and booking a call. So again, important to we're not trying to sell our entire services here. We're just trying to get them to that next step, which is booking a call. And again, going back to that promise of let's make your rooftop the talk of the town. And that's really what these developers want, along with developing great buildings. So you can see like that was almost copy and pasted from AI. One of the things I did with AI and always do is just give me maybe 5 or 10 different variations of the copy that comes out. And you can kind of pick and choose. You can kind of copy and paste and make certain changes based on that. But again, AI can generate this copy within sometimes within seconds, sometimes within minutes. So creates a really easy solution. So you can see the value of me as a marketer and copywriter is finding the right swipe, kind of describing for AI, what are the marketing principles behind that, kind of going through the market research. Again, did that within a matter of minutes in terms of like understanding the audience with the help of Chatgpt, but also just pasting that back into the prompt and making it super easy for them. So just a quick example as I went through. Again, I'm going to be doing this, try to do it every single day, where I'm showing you copy projects, how I'm using AI to do research, how to produce different copy. A lot of time I'm focused on email, so I'll show you some email examples, video sales letters, and everything else. So hit that subscribe button so you get the latest videos that I'm going through, and hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below from an AI perspective, anything else you'd like me to cover as we go through the marketing principles, and we'll go from there.